What's going on, everybody? This is 711 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. And today, we're going to talk about Georgia Southern's postseason. We're going to give you my thoughts and opinions on what's going on with the Georgia Southern Eagles. They fall 6-6, losing their last 4 in a row. Coach Clay Helton is now 1-7 in November. And it is not a good time to be Eagle right now. But I will say this. There was a great discussion on Twitter. Not going to get into it too deep into that discussion because it kind of went all over the place. But the sentiments felt good. Eagle Nation, you guys are pretty awesome. I know there's other outlets where people vent about the team. But I will say on Twitter, there's a lot of good people on there that have some really thoughtful, insightful, and logical thoughts about the team. So we're going to kind of piggyback off that and talk about that today on the show. And shout out to Lurch Logan, the guy in the comment section of my videos. He kind of started this when I copied and pasted his thoughts and put it on the Twitter, and it had everybody talking. I really appreciate that. So if this is your first time here, welcome. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. I want to thank you guys for the support. We're close to 1,500 subs on YouTube and the podcast avenue. You guys are listening, all the time. And it is absolutely amazing, the numbers that are over there. I can't thank you guys enough. Also, shout out to the Falcons. The Falcons did win their respective, they won their respective game against the Saints. That was a pretty solid win, even though everything didn't go right. But we'll talk about that later on in the week. Let's talk about this team right here. 6-6 yet again, going to a bowl game. Things aren't looking up. Possibly we may go 6-7. Maybe we'll win that bowl game. What do y'all think? I don't know. It's not looking good right now. But what I will say is there's a lot of optimism and there's a lot of frustration within Eagle Nation. And it's rightfully so. A lot of guys are frustrated. A lot of women or a lot of girls are frustrated as well. A lot of women are frustrated. A lot of boys. I mean, it's everybody. Everybody. Women, children, boys, girls, men. It's all over the place. All frustrated. And with that being said, something needs to change. 6-6, going 1-7 in November is unacceptable. You started out 6-2, Coach Clay Helton. And I understand I'm not a big fan of Davis Brin. I really did not want to talk about our players. I don't talk about them in a negative light, but he really made you look bad. I mean, he did. He made Coach Clay Helton look bad. And Coach Clay Helton made himself look bad by going along with it. We got to find a way to start developing quarterbacks because that's what makes this team go. A lot of people want to say that the team's not fired up for certain games, this, that, and the third. I'm sorry. It all starts with the quarterback. I mean, you know how this goes. If you're a Georgia Southern Eagle, we could talk about Adrian Peterson all we want. And don't get me wrong, he is a phenomenal running back of this team. But he will tell you it's the offensive line and that quarterback that made him who he is. The quarterback makes the team go, especially when you go from the triple option, spread option, air raid. It doesn't matter what kind of offense you're running, unless you're just running Wildcat all day. The quarterback makes the team go. And when you have a quarterback that doesn't perform at a high level, the other guys on the field see it too. And they're not going to be fired up to play. They're just not. I mean, it's just a thing. It's just something about the sport of football that makes that different. Yeah, it's more of a passing league when it comes to the NFL. It's kind of more of a pass. It turned into that in college as well. But even if that quarterback can throw for X amount of yards, whatever the case may be, he could be as talented as in the world. But if he's not consistently putting it out there for guys to be successful or making the team successful, the other guys aren't going to respond. And I think that's what has happened with Georgia Southern. I don't think, for some reason, and I could be wrong with this, I don't feel like the quarterback was able to galvanize the team. We all looked at the coach or whatever the case may be, and there's a reflection of the coach, don't get me wrong, but he has to find a way to get the quarterback together to have him to be the extension of what he wants. I mean, and if he can't do that, then that's a serious problem. Coach Clay Helton is in question right now if he can develop a quarterback because he's constantly, I ain't gonna say he's constantly, but for 2 years in a row, he's going out to find a quarterback that's not one that he recruited. He just plugged and played a quarterback in. And it's not a shot against Kyle Van Treese. I think he's done a great job with the hands that he was dealt. He done really well last year. But you can't strike lightning. Lightning doesn't strike twice in the same place. It just doesn't happen. You're going to have to find a way to get these young guys a chance to play. I'm a huge fan of Colton Fitzgerald. I'm a huge fan of Fitzgerald. I would love to see him play, but you don't get to see that. J.C. French is another one. A huge fan. Bo Allen. We got some talent up here. But it's not being displayed. It's not being developed in the way I see. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, I know some people on the staff. I know some people on the staff that would tell me otherwise, and that's fine. I have no problem being corrected, but it just seems like these guys aren't being developed to be the next guy up. Now, there's a lot of quarterbacks that just went into the transfer portal. You got the kid from K-State. You got the kid from Mississippi State. You got the guy from Texas A&M. I know you're going to have some more. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. I have a gut feeling that Coach Clay Helton is going to go after one of those guys, or he's going to go after another quarterback again. I just feel it. I have a gut feeling that's going to happen. Does that sit well with you? It doesn't sit well with me. But I root for the Eagles no matter what. I don't like it, but I got a feeling it's going to happen. And I'm not even going to get into the names of, Rodgers or, I can't forget the guy from K-State. I can't get, Max Johnson from Texas A&M. I'm not even going to get into going down that rabbit hole talking about them or the other ones that come out we may not know about. But I want to see our players get some burn. I told you I'm a big fan of Fitzgerald and French. I may be a little indifferent, but I like Fitzgerald a little bit more for some reason. Don't shoot me. But Coach Clay Helton is going to have to trust me. This is what I believe. I don't think anything is wrong with the team, but that one position. You got good running backs. You got receivers that can catch the ball. The offensive line isn't as good as it was last year, but they're good enough for the quarterback to get the ball out. The defense holds its own when needed. But when the quarterback, the leader of your team, is not performing at a higher level, everybody else is just going to, they're just going to wing it. Especially in college. They're going to wing it. These guys galvanized behind Kyle Van Treese. I'm not saying they're not doing it for Bren, but you saw it with Kyle Van Treese. These guys wanted to play. These guys went above and beyond to catch this guy's passes. Derwin Burgess went all out. Caleb Hood went all out. Amari Jones went all out to go catch this guy's passes last year. I don't see the same with Davis Brin. Now, another thing about this, Kyle Van Treese was able to scan the field a little bit more than Davis Brin, but I just don't want. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I don't want to go. I don't went too far already, but I will say that I will also say this. Going forward, we cannot have this again. Year 3, we need a quarterback that's going to make some things happen and actually get the ball to the receivers, be a bona fide leader on the field. We need a real field general. We saw these other quarterbacks that came through here, even when we was running the triple option. You saw the Jared McKinnis of the world. You saw Upshaw. You saw J.R. Revere. You saw Greg Hill. You saw these guys, J-Bo. You saw these guys who were confident at driving the ball downfield. Even at the small times that they passed, hell, even with Shaw Wirtz was a difference maker when he was on the field compared to a Justin Tomlin. It matters. And I'm not blaming it all just on the quarterback. I'm blaming it on the coach because the coach is the one that's orchestrating all of this. The coach is orchestrating all of this. So this is why I say it's like it's not necessarily just a quarterback issue. The quarterback is an extension of the coach. And for him to rebuild this team, I think he's doing a good job rebuilding the team. But when you're losing 4 in a row, that's not the best way to make it look good. I think he's doing okay, 2 6-6 seasons. You know, you don't have all your pieces yet, but you got to get the quarterback position right. I believe that you've done good with the receivers. I like DeAndre Buchanan. I like Marcus Sanders. I like Dalen Cobb. You know, Durham Burgess was a Chad Lunsford holdover, but Caleb Hood is a Chad Lunsford holdover. But the guys that he brought in, the O.J. Arnolds of the world, Badinga at running back, the guys he brought in from the offensive line, defensively, he's brought in some good talent. I know there's some people out there that don't want to believe this, but he's brought in some good talent. This is why I'm not necessarily dogging on him and want him to say, oh, changes need to be made, because you're not going to find anybody out there like this. I could be wrong, but I don't see it. Not right now. Not after 2 years. You pull a guy after 2 years, you're going to be in a situation where nobody wants to be here. But he has to get year 3 right. He has to. You need to have at least 8 wins in that column. Maybe 7, and that's pushing it. But you need 8 wins in that column by year 3. But I will say this before I get out of here. Don't be surprised, y'all. Do not be surprised. Don't be surprised if he tried to pull another quarterback that's a graduate transfer once again. I got a feeling that he's going to do it, and it's going to upset a lot of people, but you heard it here first. I think he's going to do it. I think he's going to try it. The talent is out there, but I don't think that talent's going to come in. I don't think we're going to see a Will Rogers come through the door. We thought a JT Daniels was going to be here, but I don't think we're going to. Will Rogers, all them other guys, I will be extremely surprised. But just prepare yourself for it. Prepare to get upset, because I got a feeling he's going to try it. I want French or Fitzgerald to get the nod, but I feel like he's going to try it. So don't set yourself up. Just prepare for it. If you like this commentary, hit the like button. Share this podcast. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know what you guys think. You can subscribe to me on YouTube or Rumble, whatever your best preference is. If you want to listen to me on the podcast avenue, I'm on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. Check me out over there. Google is going to be changing over to YouTube Podcasts, I think, in 2024. But you can check me out on any of those avenues. I am in the works of trying to expand the podcast. With your help, will definitely be appreciated if you want to. Cash App and PayPal links are below if you want to bring any monetary value to the show. It helps make things go faster as far as the expansion of the show. And I cannot thank you guys enough. I really appreciate the support for your listener and viewership. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. We're going to talk some Falcons. We may jump into some more Georgia Southern stuff. And I thank everybody who discussed Georgia Southern football on Twitter today. You guys have been great. All right, y'all, I'm out of here. Y'all take it easy and y'all be blessed. Peace.